Morning. All right, Jay Baba, folks, this is story time. Welcome to story time. At this time, we ask people to share their favorite stories that they just love. Storybooks, we want to see the pictures. We want to, and then tell us why they're special to you. So we invite you to think about, and often it's children's stories, but not necessarily. It's just it's what's meaningful to you. So Wendy has a couple that she's sharing today. So Wendy, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, the first one, they're both fairly short stories. And this one's called Angel in a Dog Suit. And can you see it?
Mm-hmm. Beautiful, yeah.
So, friends of mine, they did this book. They donated the money they got from it to the Humane Society for, dogs that are not treated well. So because there's so many Baba lovers that have dogs, I just thought this was a good one. And my grandchildren really liked it too. So it's written by Scribble and Grin. And the pictures that are in it, they are of Mary and Paul. So the adults that are in it, that's them in person. So let me just get to the, okay. All right. I'm just going to read this one part. It's just the adoption part of it. I just think it's important to hear this part before I read the story. It's called Precious Lives. Cherish a precious life today. Take more than a passing glance. That pet's a stray or throwaway who needs a second chance. Save a precious life today and share your forever home. Pets want a lasting place to stay, so no one lives alone. Adopt a precious life today. Give it a tender thought. Just open up your heart and say, my home's the perfect spot. In a cage, in a barn, on a downtrodden farm, a tiny gray dog sat trembling from harm. Though gentle and tame, no one gave her a name, and nobody cared when the mean people came. The dog kept very still in that huge puppy mill. She was hungry and thirsty. It made her feel ill. Always quiet and shaking. Her poor heart was aching. Can't anyone see the mistakes they are making? I don't know if you can see the pictures or not. Can you see the pictures or not? I can't hear you better.
Yes. If you hold them up just once, that's good. Yeah.
There were hundreds of others, most of them mothers, and she waited 6 years with her sisters and brothers. In the dark, she would pray until one sunny day, light burst through the door and swept them away. To a shelter they went, and to soothe her torment, they fed her and bathed her, but she wasn't content. Despite fear and confusion, this was not an illusion. Well, it is better here, was her grateful conclusion. While she stayed in their yard, the dog still felt on guard. Though the spaces were larger, the gates were still barred. Many people would come, and she often felt dumb because they'd stare in her cage. So the poor pup went numb. Now, if you can see this picture, that's my friend. Where the story turns. Until one woman came and exclaimed, "What a shame. You're an angel, sweet girl. You need a name." She lifted her gently and listened intently to the dog's nervous heart, then spoke confidently. "Hello, precious stone. Please don't sit here alone. May I call you Ruby?" I met Ruby, she was sweet. "And give you a home?" So that lady came back each day with a snack. She called, "Come, Ruby, cheese," and she left her pack. Then together they'd walk, and the lady would talk. Ruby learned to climb curbs. Then she tried out the block. "Please come home with me where you will be free. You'll be part of our family. Oh, won't you agree?" I remember going through this with Mary. So in love with her charms, Ruby jumped into her arms. She knew she was safe. No more nasty dog farms. Asleep on her knee, Ruby's heart filled with glee, and she dreamt lovely dreams of the things she might be. There were flowers and fishes with hearts full of wishes. When she woke up at home, she had her own dishes. There was one bowl with food, and the other she viewed was filled with cool water when it suited her mood. And this is her husband in this picture here. And at her house was a man who was part of the clan. She was frightened at first. When she saw him, she ran. She'd just watch, and he'd wait while she'd contemplate, her eyes staring back. Was this a mistake? But it didn't take long till the two formed a bond, because he'd toss her nice treats, and she knew she belonged. As they went through their day, near the lady he'd stay. "Where's Ruby?" "Look down," the man always would say. Every day, in no rush, with a comb and a brush, the lady would groom her, and Ruby was mush. This is actually in their home. True story, 100%. And this is a water area near where we live. You see that? With the couple, she'd walk by the lake to the dock till she built up her strength. She was carried a lot. When she needed to rest, Ruby scratched up a nest in her pocket dog basket. Ah, this is the best. Very quiet and meek, Ruby never would speak. Then one day in the yard, out a happy woof squeaked. She soon learned to run, so she'd do it for fun in wide figure eights until she was done. And this is in their backyard. And as days stretched ahead, Ruby slept on their bed with her very own blanket of yellow and red. She lounged in the sunshine with all things aligned. Her troubles were over, This family is mine. Sweet Ruby, whenever you're scared, please don't ever forget that we promised to love you forever. Well, her tail wagged around, then she flipped upside down because she loved them right back from her toes to her crown. Feeling comfy and warm, she began to transform. And then Ruby's gray dog suit took on a new form. See how pretty her coat got?
Wow.
Her soft coat would flow with a silvery glow as her sweet inner angel was starting to show. Very soon you could tell she'd come out of her shell. Oh, sorry, she'd come out of her shell. Yeah, that's right. With each person she'd meet, her wee heart would swell. And wherever she went, you'd hear people comment. She was something special. She looks heaven sent. She really did. Ruby felt so relieved with each smile she received. As love spread across their faces, she knew and believed. I never gave up, thought this brave little pup. My heart's open wide to love people close up. With the husband and wife, tender care replaced strife. So Ruby knew peace for the rest of her life. Her heart was courageous, her spirit vivacious, and above all, her love was divine and contagious. And this is the afterword. This is a true story. A puppy mill survivor, Ruby came into our lives April 19th, 2012, when we offered video services to the Humane Society to assist in the adoption of 125 puppy mill dogs in their care. A sweeter being has not graced the planet. Her health was seriously compromised by the horrible effects of 6 caged years, and our 2 years together passed much too quickly. Despite best efforts, Ruby took her place among the angels on March the 10th, 2014. It's sold that rubies are divine love in crystal form. Ruby brought so much joy to the lives she touched. Surely divine love in doggy form. We believe her inner angel just got too big for her dog suit. So she's off spreading love across the universe. We miss you, sweet girl, from the heart, Mary and Paul.
Oh, beautiful. Wow.
Yeah. I picked this book because I'm a dog lover, have been all my life. And it kind of reminded me of my own life.
Sweet, darling. So are these pictures or are these photographs that are worked out as pictures?
Yes, they were photos and some, I don't know, they're artists. So I don't know how they do that, but that is Mary, 100%. And yeah, I don't know how they do it, but they take a photo and then they do their magic.
That's beautiful, very beautiful art also, and that it's all in poem, in all with how do you call that in English?
Yeah, in
Rhyme.
yeah,
Right.
Rhyme. Mhm.
it and they're lovely people. And when I saw Mary a bit back, I said, Mary, is it okay if I read this? Yeah, both her and her husband, of course. And yeah, and they love our dog here. And when they come into the house, our dog knows it. You know, it's like anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. it was a favorite pick for me. Anybody have any other comment or shall I?
Yeah, dog's life is like our lives. Yeah, it does remind, so it's touches. Yeah, and the way that they loved her and the way that they took care of her and enjoyed her and appreciated what she had within her soul.
Right, right. Yeah. And I think the dogs teach us about love and loyalty because they don't ask for anything other than just to be loved. So that's, yeah, I think that's really important.
What a
And
wonderful work that they do. I mean, it's the campaigning against puppy mills is, we know about it, but this is beautifully put. Um,
thank you. I couldn't, when they decided to take on the project, I just couldn't support it enough. They have another one that's for children that are being bullied. But we'll do that another day.
Oh, that would be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have a lot of those people in our world sometimes. And yeah, and when you get, for me, knowing them firsthand, I know that they're walking their talk. This is, yeah, for no other reason, just the whole.
Oh, I hope you'll show them this video and yeah, and tell them thank you. It's good work that they're doing. Wow.
Good idea to show them this video and show them how we enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yep, well, they come quite regularly, so for sure I'll do that. Thank you for reminding me about that, Betty. So, sorry.
Did you have another book, Wendy?
If that's okay, it's a very short one.
Yeah.
And it's from one of my favorite people, authors, Nancy Tillman. And I read the other one, It Matters That You're Here. I think that was our first one. So this one, as I said, it's just a slow one, but I think this one today is the reason I chose it was because it's really important to know that we're loved, no matter what's happening in our lives. So here we go. Wherever you are, my love will find you. And that just reminded me of Brahman. No matter where we are, and when I would read it to the kids, they heard that part of it. I'd always say, God knows you wherever you are, no matter what you're doing. So make sure you know that. I wanted you more than you ever will know. So I sent love to follow wherever you go.
Can we see the picture, Wendy? Is it paintings? The illustrations?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow. Is that hippopotamuses? Wow. What a concept. Oh.
I'm just going to take the cover off. Okay, that's better now. Can you see the picture now?
Yeah.
It's high as you wish it. It's quick as an elf. You'll never outgrow it. It stretches itself.
Now, what does she describe? Is she on a diving board there?
Diving board, a ring around her, and there's a seal in the water.
Wow, those are wonderful concepts.
And my grandchildren love the water, they still do. And they were like little seals in the water.
Can we see it, Wendy? Can we see it closer?
I don't know.
Let's see. Let me spotlight you, Wendy. That'll help. Okay. There. Yeah, that's great. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
we live in the country. This was very appropriate. So climb any mountain, climb up to the sky. My love will find you. My love can fly.
Are those stars in the background?
Those
No,
Wow.
it's bubbles and shiny things.
Wow, I see. Wow. What?
And when I read this story, the response was, Grandma, that's like the fireflies that we see.
Ah,
Oh, beautiful.
wow. Oh, yeah.
So they can be stars and fireflies. And
Uh,
with the
Oh,
big
oh,
go out on a limb. My love will find you. My love whim.
wow. Oh,
She's having so much fun. And the elephant spraying water at her or him. Oh my goodness. It makes you laugh.
oh, these are great pictures. Wow, I love these. Whimsy, total whimsy.
I love them because you can stay with them.
Yeah.
And thank you, Betty, for asking me to, and Rosalie, because it just, yeah. I get involved in the
Did
picture.
the artist also write the book? Is it, or is it two different people?
No.
No, okay. Wow.
Yeah. And like it never gets lost, never fades, never. So that love just, you can be on your trampoline and jump it up and down.
Oh, where's she going? Oh.
This one. So when we go, you go apple picking. What animal? Even if you're working, love will find you.
Oh.
Or playing hide and go seek, right? Every child loves to play hide and go seek. And the little bunny, can you see the little bunny down here? And over here?
Can you hold the bunny a little closer? Now,
yeah.
now are there any words here or is it all pictures?
Yeah, this is just or playing.
Okay.
She's hide and go seek.
Because you put the book in front, you put your mouth not near the voice. So when you read, just
Yeah.
bring it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Or sitting with a friend.
Oh, that's too pandas. Oh, and those the speckles, the sparkles are throughout. It's like a theme. Yeah.
These are the love sparkles that follow her.
Beautiful. Oh, I just love these. It's whimsical.
And it even though there's very few words, it's amazing the children how they get into it. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
Why is your voice cutting off for other people, or is
Yeah.
it just me? It's
No.
broken. It's broken. What you're saying, Wendy?
Only a little bit. Well, try again. I think it's only
Yeah.
when the book gets in front. Okay.
I think, with children with these books, they get into them,
Totally.
step into the picture, which
Yeah.
is, and then the conversation begins. And because love is the theme, and we know love is all that really matters, it becomes quite magical.
Oh,
But I don't like books without pictures. So
yeah.
what does that say?
I agree.
Yeah.
Magical, totally. I just am in trance. This is beautiful. Peacock.
So I'll just read it and we'll put it back up.
Okay.
Till you're blue. There's no place, not one, that my love cannot find.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Wow. Oh.
Sorry. There's the picture and the magic.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
My grandchildren and I were always looking for fairies. So you know, sometimes it became fireflies or fairies flying around. And yeah, we had quite magical times and still do. And if someday you're lonely, or someday you're sad, or you strike out at baseball, or you think you've been bad, just lift up your face, feel the wind in your hair. That's me, my sweet baby. My love is right there.
Wow.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Oh,
Now we have a couple of swings on the property. So again, oh, Grandma, this is like our place. In the green of the grass, in the smell of the sea, in the clouds floating by at the top of a tree, in the sound crickets make at the end of the day. You are love. You are, they all say.
Those are whales. So show us, I want to see the whales, right? Oh,
no, these,
Dolphin, dolphin.
They're
dolphins. Oh, they're beautiful. Oh, good. Oh, that's nice. I'll look at the picture for a minute. Um, sheep, right?
Bye-bye.
My love is so high and so wide and so deep. It's always right there, even when you're asleep.
oh, nice.
Goes.
She's doing the stork pose. Wow, beautiful.
So hold your head high and don't be afraid to march to the front of your own.
Mm.
If you're still my small babe, or you're all the way grown, my promise to you is you're not alone. So I don't know if you've ever done this or not, but it's so much fun when you talk and you get to swing over the water and drop in
Mm.
out and the bird
And
is
is that an eagle way up there?
not sure if it's an eagle or just a black, big black.
Interesting.
Pretty big. It's a bird of prey, I bet.
You are my angel, my darling, my star, and my love will find you wherever.
You are.
That's beautiful. Wow.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So, Wendy,
Yes?
Wendy, I want to know what year that was published in, just out of curiosity.
Hold on. Oh, covered. First edition was 2010.
Yeah, yeah.
What are the names of the writer and artist?
Tillman,
Is the artist or the writer? Or
writer,
both?
and Kathleen Breitenfeld.
Is what, the artist or
I-
the
That's her artist.
Uh-huh.
artist? Yeah.
Beautiful. Wendy, did you jump into the water from a rope?
Oh, yes.
Where? Where?
Well, we have a stream, well, not now where I'm living, but where I used to live in Toronto. And I used to sneak down through the valley there, which I was not supposed to do, but I did it. And And the only way I could get across the stream was to swing on that rope. But in the summertime, you could, I mean, back then the water was clean. Not anymore. You wouldn't do it.
Uh,
Periodically, you didn't quite make it. And
Oh, is that wide? Wow, the river.
Yeah.
Oh,
make a good run for it. And yeah, and a few of us that did that. Oh, we got caught. How did we ever get it? Anyway, while it lasted, it was good.
wow.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Today I was thinking of Baba's love, that he's feeding us so much with love, that we can be content and we can be in our lives because we are fed by his love daily.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
thankful for that.
So those were my two picks for today. And because I think given where we are today, not just the rescuing of dogs, but also it's not a matter of rescuing people. You can't rescue someone, but to support them through whatever they're going through. And it makes a difference. Love conquers all. Just that simple. But it's hard because sometimes we have to be brave, we have to be vulnerable. And a lot of people just can't be vulnerable.
Oh, Baba.
So when we become vulnerable and speak up and comfort someone who may not fit into what people call the norm, that's okay. That's okay. You know, you have no idea how that could shift someone. And yeah, yeah. And it's been a very, very busy week with a lot of, I don't like the word demands, but you know, people that have been in need. And Martin and I have one of those houses. So yeah, it just felt appropriate.
You mean you take people in?
Well, not usually overnight, but it has happened. Just it's a safe place here. And well, I still am running groups again, thank goodness. But sometimes I'll have to say, okay, you need to go home now.
Wendy, didn't you work with, maybe you could tell us a little bit about the orphanage, the Pumpkin House, and Stella? Did you do that?
Well, when I was there, I would go and spend time there because I spent time in an orphanage. And I, you know, even though I was very young, there are still strong memories of that experience. So for whatever reason, because Martin and I would always bring things to the school, backpacks and pencils and so on, all our friends at the bank and grocery stores that say, oh, are you going over? Let us send you some stuff. So it would go over. And that's how I got to know Stella, who she was the headmaster or whatever you call it over there of this, like a principal, I guess.
Yeah, she was the school, the English school.
Yeah. And so we just kind of clicked. And so anyway, I would go and just spend some time with the children and tell them stories and share my life. And they would ask questions and I would share that. But the one day that I will never forget to the day I die, two twins, or a set of twins, sorry, came in off the streets of Mumbai. And they were just fresh off the street. So they were dirty and, you know, the tears, you know, there were lines, you know, down their faces. And anyway, Stella, without a thought, just gave me the little boy. and she took the other child. And so I just held him. And, you know, if you've ever held a child that is crying that so deep inside of them, yeah, it's hard. Anyway, he finally settled, and unfortunately the curfew time was coming. As you well know, you have to be back in your room. I think it's 9. Is it 9 or?
Yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, so I had to leave, but I didn't want to, because he had settled. And anyway, had to, there was no option left. Anyway, I think it was her daughter that took him, and he was okay. He was a little,
Oh.
I
How old? How old?
don't even think they were 2.
Wow.
They were young, like really young, like toddler type kids.
Wow. Mhm.
So I'm thinking that would be around 2 years old. So anyway, I couldn't wait to get back the next day. I asked Stella, can I come back tomorrow? Anyway, so I saw them again. And then I'm going to say the following year, because I went fairly regularly back then. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe how well these 2 children were doing.
Beautiful.
It was just, yeah, it was lovely. And I'm sure they'll have scars internally, but I don't like, I know some people, something happened with the pumpkin house. I don't know what those politics were. I don't care. I don't get involved in those things. I know what I experienced when I was there, and I never saw anything more than them trying to give those children the best they could possibly offer them.
I
And
don't think anyone saw it different. I don't think anyone saw it different.
sorry, I can't hear you.
I don't think anyone saw it different. They
Okay.
knew that it was a good place and she was doing a good job.
Good. I'm glad to hear that, because yeah, it was a really lovely part of my experience of going to India, for sure.
How many children were there?
Oh my goodness, that's a good.
Oh.
I don't think I'd be exaggerating if there was at least 30 of them.
Wow. Mhm.
And you know, when I first went, they didn't have near what they had when I stopped going to India. I just stopped going to India for health reasons, but they had one of those big computer screen things, so that, you know, they had access to more things for the kids to learn. And the other thing that was lovely, that some of them who had come through that came back and helped Stella. I mean, that's a real, to me, mirror of what Stella gave them. For them to go to school and then come back and bring what they learned. And
Wow.
I that really, it really did. And just the simplicity. I remember, you know, going into town with her one day and getting things for the kids. And, you know, just bedding and pillow cases. And it was things that our children take for granted. You know, they're just there. And such a big deal. And I mean, what it cost was irrelevant. I didn't care. I was just so grateful that another child or 2 was, or more, we're going to have a pillow and a blanket. Yeah, it was an honor. I felt like I got as much as they did out of it, just from a different perspective, for sure.
What were the ages roughly? What was the age range?
You know what? I never saw like a newborn there. I'm going to say probably 2, 3 and up. And
Oh,
some of the girls, they were in their teens getting ready. She could only take them so far. And then if I remember right, near the end, she could get them all the way to, I think it's college or something. I think that's the next step after what we would call from kindergarten to grade 12 or 13 here in Canada. And then you would go to college or university. So I'm thinking that's probably 16, 17 tops. They would go off. And Stella fought for them because I don't understand all the legalities over there, but if a family member found out that there was a child there from their family and they needed, somebody to take care of them, they could try to get that child out of her care. And Stella fought tooth and nail for those children so that, they didn't go back into a bad place. And, that, for me, that was huge because I had someone in my life that fought tooth and nail for me. And, those people, you can't pay for those people. It's either there or it's not. And yeah, I was pretty impressed with that. I watched her one day on a telephone conversation, and boy, you talk about the tiger. It's pretty, yeah. Composed, but a tiger. Like, nope, not gonna happen. And
Very touching, what you're telling in the background that you are referring to of your own
yes,
that I didn't know. And yeah, so I don't want to get into it if you don't want to say, but thank you for sharing that too. Also in the stories. Yeah.
well, the reality is, I can say without a shadow of a doubt, if you feel loved, you can get through anything that the universe puts in front of you. Baba just, knowing what I know now, yeah, it was not an easy trek, but not once, no matter what happened, there was always the flip side of it, of someone who showed up and, would give me that knowing, okay, hang in there. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And
Wow.
you carry those scars your whole life. I mean, I'm 74 this year, and there are some times that I have to just step back and go ask myself, okay, how big are you here, Wendy? Oh my, I'm that little girl, and I have to, take the pill that makes me, not to respond like the child. That I'm all grown up now and I can handle this. There's nothing I can't handle. And with Baba, yeah, it's going to happen. And I can honestly say my whole life, I never had anything. Not too long afterwards, even in my adult life, where some teacher came along. And I don't mean a school teacher necessarily. I mean, just a woman of strength that helped me to get through whatever the next thing was. So
That's
I
wow.
feel very blessed that way. I really feel blessed. And my time in India, taking care of Arnavas, that, yeah, I felt like Baba said, okay, yeah, come on in. And it was amazing time, even though I'd been coming and going and working with the Mandali, doing body work and stuff. I've been given that opportunity to live there. And it's not easy living there. There's a lot of challenges. And yeah, it's just my take on it. I just felt like Baba said, you never gave up, despite all the hardships, and they kept going even up later on in my life. And yeah, I always had a strong faith in God. And my parents who adopted me would say, I don't know where you get this from. I just don't know where you get this from. And I didn't know, like at that time, I didn't know. I just felt, okay, I don't even know how to put it into words, so
Lives, past lives, you get this.
probably. But, back then you don't know that, and you're just bumbling along, doing your best to be the best you can. And I'm just glad that I got a good whack of Baba's love to get me through everything, and a good sense of humor. Because I can laugh at myself, no problem, no problem. Because sometimes it's like, whoa.
And a good heart, you need a good heart for that, for what you went through. You need a loving heart.
Yeah.
Loving this.
Yeah. Well, I do. I really do care about people.
Yeah, you do.
You work as a counselor. Yeah, Wendy, is that right? You lead groups?
I had my own private practice, and I worked with groups because I was not the type of person that could say, oh, your hour's up, get out. We'll pick up next week. I just couldn't do that. And with the groups, I just found over and over again, when one woman was strong enough to be brave and vulnerable, it helped whatever amount were there. They could feel that, okay, if she can do it, I can do it, and we would support each other and ask the questions, what do I need to do to support you? And sometimes it was just, just love me, just, sit with me. Or sometimes it was just hold me. And I think sometimes when we're going through things, we just need to blether, and let everything out without anybody interjecting, till you're empty. And then, the facilitator, do we need to do anything here? Or are you okay? And sometimes, yeah, there were, but sometimes that's all they needed, was a platform to let it out. And, when people, are in pain, they just need to know they're loved. Anyway, enough.
Yes. Love is the true thing needed in this world all the time. That's our food, that's our breast, that's even Baba, even Baba, he said, Mehera was loving him, and she was like his breast, without which he could not be.
Right. Yeah. I remember one time with Arnavez, there was something going on, which I don't feel that I should be sharing. Anyway, and I just held her. And it was so beautiful to be able to do that. The amount of times she certainly held me. It was a real privilege to have had. Yeah.
That is so precious, because she was probably so not held, when her husband left the body, and she was supporting everyone and being the big mother. Wow. So precious that you held her. Wow.
Was,
That's
Yeah.
so touching. Wow. To tears. Wow. Did you sleep there in Meherabad? Did you sleep in Meherazad?
I slept in Ronald's room.
Oh, how
Just
long?
well, I was there for 3 months. But I came and went, like we were in for, I think it was in for 3 days, out for 2. So we would rotate whoever was the other caregiver.
But you staying there all the time in those 3 months in the room and sleeping there? Wow.
Yeah.
That's-
Well, I would come back to Meherabad and have 2 days there, and then
Mhm.
and I would go back to Meherazad. Yeah,
That's beautiful. Very precious. Wow.
yeah, it was, yeah. And I went back to my room. I didn't socialize. I just felt like they were on call all the time. And I got to eat, lunch with them every day. So it wasn't like I didn't have any time with them. And yeah, it was lovely. It was just lovely. And
Precious.
Who is they? When you say they, do you mean the Mandali or do you mean other West? You said they, I just didn't, you said you had lunch with them? Who is
the
the
mom
Mandali? The Mandali.
had up on the table every day that I was there and had lunch. And got to sit on Lonnie's stool, and oh yeah, it was.
I mean, the man that was there at that time.
Yes, there was Katie and Mehera. Dr. Gohair was there at another time. She was near the end, obviously. Yeah, I think that's it. And
So you were eating in the dining hall there, in the Baba dining hall. Oh, how beautiful! Wow, wow. Oh, so beautiful. So
Wendy,
Kate,
you mentioned Mani's stool. You're saying stool.
yep, there is a little,
Okay.
yep,
Okay, she sat at the table on a stool.
yep.
no,
No,
But
wait, you cut out. Go
As-
ahead.
as I know, that was always her spot. I just remember one of the Mandalays saying, that pretty sure it was Mehera, who said that, or maybe it was Shelley who said that there. And
But it was a stool. I'm just curious. A
Yeah.
stool, no
Yeah.
back, no back on it. Yeah. Huh.
no, but, yeah.
She
And
went-
sorry?
Well, this has turned into a little bit of Wendy's story, which is precious and priceless, and that's what's wonderful about these meetings. I remember, I'll never forget the story you told about deciding to marry Martin. I don't, if you did record it, it'll be documented for the world, and it should be.
please, if it's okay
Yeah.
to tell.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
So, as I think most of you know, I came out of a marriage that had alcohol involved in it. And anyway, so that marriage went. And so Martin and I were on a course together. And I need to tell you this because it'll fit with the rest of it. We were on this course together, and one of those people that showed up in my life when I really needed them said, "You should go over and talk to this gentleman over there." And I went, "I'm done." I'm done. Even though he's just come back from India and I really want to go there. Nope. And she said, "No, I think you should go." And because I really respected Una, over I went. I said, "Hi, my name is Wendy." Like I felt like this silly little. Anyway, the long and the short, he was very lovely and said, "Hubby, we'll have lunch together." And it was like, oh my God, like, no. And he said, no, it's okay. We'll just have it here in the hotel. Okay. So anyway, the bell rings, we go to our courses, we go for lunch. And the restaurant was built around a garden. This was in October, and over here in October, everything is done. It was Halloween weekend, as a matter of fact. And so anyway, so we're sitting there, and he's telling me about India because he's just come back. And then he gives me a picture of Baba. And I look at it and I kind of go, yeah, it kind of looks like a really neat, like a pizza man on an advertising. I think about that now and I go, oh my gosh. Anyway, but that's what I felt at the time. And so we talked some more. And then he gave me one of Baba's hairs. Martin carries one in his wallet in a little Ziploc bag. And he put it in my left hand. And it started to beat like a heart.
Oh, Papa.
The garden. And it wasn't a dead garden anymore. It was like unbelievable. If I could paint, yeah. Anyway, so I looked at him and I said, no, really, who is this? And he said, well, Baba claimed he was the avatar of this time. And it's like, I don't know what an avatar is, and he said, God in human form. And like, I just felt like my whole world was going, like, it was unbelievable. Anyway, so then we go our separate ways. We do the course, yada, yada, yada. And then, I don't know, maybe a year later, maybe not even that long. I don't really remember. I'm in Toronto. I'm going for an astrology reading. He walks in, we see each other, we give each other a hug, and then both of us simultaneously said, what was your name again? We exchanged, our telephone numbers and address, and that was that. So then, as time went on, we started seeing each other and blah, 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 blah. Now I have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, and my boys were almost at teens, like this was not a time for things to go south again. And I was broken. Really broken. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Anyway, the long and the short, he asked me to marry him. And I was like, oh my. So I wanted to say yes, but I was scared. Like I was really scared. So anyway, I said, okay, give me some time. And I went downstairs because I lived here before Martin came. And so I went down to my office and I lit a candle. And I said, Baba, if you really are gone, you need to let me know whether I'm supposed to marry Martin or not. Because I don't think my heart could take another heartbreak. I just don't. So anyway, so I closed my eyes and I don't know how long, I really don't know. And when I opened my eyes, the candle was out. So I stood up and I went, okay, Baba, I guess I'm not supposed to marry him. And the candle lit.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa.
You tell that story in Mondele Hall. Well, I didn't, but it sort of,
Ah,
if you ever felt the strength of Erich's hand on your arm, story. Yeah, it was like, you're not getting out of here until you tell that story.
wow. Wow, that is amazing.
Oh, I'm so glad we got it on tape.
You know what? yeah, even now I go, there you were, like you're always there.
Wow.
When was that, Wendy? When was that? How long ago?
Well, we were married in 1989, so
Yeah.
probably 88 or maybe even the very beginning of 89.
Yeah, long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
89, Mehera passed away. That's a couple sign.
Yep. Well, I was so sad because we were going to go there for our honeymoon.
But
And
you married her before she passed away?
no, I missed her just by that much. Yes.
No, married before she passed away? You married before she passed away?
She died in July of 88, right?
No, she
Oh,
no, in May. In May
May of
2089.
89. Yes, that's right. That's right.
When did you get married?
July.
Oh,
That's right after. Mhm.
Like it was so close. Like, we were just so close. Anyway, Martin had met. Yes. And yeah, I just missed her. Yeah.
No, you didn't, because I feel that her hand is in it. I always consider marriages and getting together, which are from Baba, to be also involved with Mehera.
Yeah.
The fact that you married so close to her passing away when she was free from the body and she could help so many people.
I mean, I have felt her more and more in my life in situations, especially in the last year or so, which is lovely. But I think I've shown you this before, but Martin designed our wedding ring. And this,
Oh, please put it up on.
spotlight. Okay, let's do that.
Oh, that's Baba inside. No,
no,
what's inside the heart?
So,
diamond. It's just a little diamond, because both Martin and I are body workers,
Okay.
never wear fancy jewelry,
right.
Beautiful. Very
Yeah.
fancy. Very
beautiful.
beautiful.
It's beautiful.
That's a marriage ring.
And then on the side, that little swirl is like what you see at the Samadhi, only it's going this way.
Oh, wow. Wow. Beautiful. Wow.
What are you talking about? What you see at the Samadhi, the swirl?
See the little swirl there?
Yeah. Mhm.
Almost like a music treble clef.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
At the Samadhi on the railing, you can see that.
That's beautiful. That's very, very beautiful.
The railing outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
the-
yeah.
is it marriage ring. That's a marriage ring.
Yeah.
Very, very, very beautiful. How come he made it? He's a jeweler.
No, he's the sweetheart. He's the sweetheart. And that was just his, and I loved it. And then when I saw Mara's ring, she had a ring with a heart on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, awesome with that. And he didn't even know that. Like I asked him, and
That's beautiful. That's so touching. Wow. Thank you for sharing all these stories.
Hey, wonderful. Wendy time. Story time and Wendy time. That's great.
Thank you.
Well,
also.
the wonderful thing for me and being around Mehera was you were seeing true love. And so just that it existed. So any disappointment ever in something that you thought should be a love experience is, I mean, to know it existed. I mean, that was the value of seeing the female, being around the female side of God. And it's true, when Baba dropped his body and when Mehera dropped her body, it's like that, that being available to all, that true love story, because that's how it is. And whereas Baba doesn't come out and say the female side of God, but in the accident, so-called accident in Oklahoma, he thanked Mehera for sharing half the suffering of the accident. And to my knowledge, anything I've ever read or heard from Andali, when they would ask to share his suffering, he'd say, no, you couldn't do it. So Mehera is the female side of God for me, to me, I think for everyone, but I feel that so strongly. And that she stayed 20 years. And that's why it's so precious, that first talk with Vesta Clinton, who experienced how Mehera would get through that 20 years. She'd be up late doing her dance with Baba, adoring, loving every picture. And you have to hear Vesta, who was sleeping on the floor of the living room at Marazad, tell that. It's absolutely precious. Vesta was going to put it into a book, but thank God it is in a video, and it's at Baba Zoom. It's the first talk. And one time it was interesting. Mehera kissed one of the pictures, and Vesta heard glass shattering. So, you just have to hear it. I mean, it's like, and I thought of that when Vesta passed. And when I found out, I thought, oh, thank God it's in the video, because Vesta said what she had to say. And we heard what we had to hear. And I thank God for it. I'll tell you something I heard so long ago from Joseph Harb, who I consider Mandali. He was in the West, in California, but he said that Baba gave the order to the Mandali that when he dropped his body, if Mehera chose to follow him, do not stop her. Do not stop Mehera. That's true love. That's true love.
You mean to commit suicide is what you're right?
Yeah, yeah, suicide, take her life. So she stayed, the strength of that female side that she's giving now, in the world, and that she gave during that 20-year stay, thank God, with us, the strength. And she always supported the strength of women. When she'd say something to you, I mean, she said things to me I wouldn't even listen to anyone else say. It's like, because it was like Baba. It was like the female side of Baba, And what's so beautiful is the male and female to that divine human state, their dance. I mean, it's like so incredibly precious, just I can remember I get what they call crushes on people my first time in 76, and I just feel disappointed. And so I'd say, I gotta go see Mehera to see true love. I have to see true love. And I would be all right after that. I didn't have to say anything to her, but she was living that true love. She was living it.
Emanating.
Yeah. And and I remember her saying in front of everyone, she says, I guess I'm all of your mother, that I was mother to you all. What could be, I know, before I met her, I had a dream, and Phyllis Frederick is this beloved devotee of Baba. she says, you were looking to Mehera as your mother. And I thought it's perfect because I wanted a spiritual mother. Not that I wanted someone that really loved God, like, yeah, my mother, it was, I think, probably her first time being mother. I just knew she needed to be mother a lot of times after that. But Mehera, when Jack Small took myself and the 4 other people I came to India with the first time, and it was the day that Mehera came. She would come twice a month to the Samadhi for Arti. And I don't remember seeing any other person there. We were inside the Samadhi, and she slipped out of her chappals, and I couldn't believe she was walking because she was so inward. I didn't know how her body was walking into the Samadhi. And I felt after, of course, just being around her, that she came in the Samadhi and not seeing anyone, she was never alone. She was not allowed to be alone. There was always someone with her, Mani, whatever. But Baba wanted me to see how with him she was. So when I saw her on the porch, and it was more casual, you might say more casual, but it was not. I would know her stature. I would know true that she was his beloved, doubtless, no matter what ritual would come out of that or it was very precious. But she was so supportive of women. But also she had her hand in romances and they didn't work out. So that, I remember one. And it did not work out. But the thing is, sometimes you have to, things happen for a reason, you experience them, you Johnny Doe them, give them to Baba, give them to Mehera, they're gone, that's all about. It's only the trying to love. We're only trying to love. We keep having these experiences, and you can check them off on the wall, stick figures, but each time, God is a jealous lover. And as Baba says, we are God. Says we're jealous of ourselves, There's one.
I gotta step away and check on David. I'll be back. Sorry.
There's one amazing line by an American poet, and it says, love is the irresistible desire to be irresistibly desired.
Yeah.
And, we all want to be in that position because we all are in that position. It's doubtless. When Baba says, I have come not to teach, but to awaken me in you, because that's where I am. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I left my marriage, and of course, the lady earlier, Una, we had some pretty lovely conversations, but I never once said anything other than I didn't leave my first husband because I didn't love him. I left him because I couldn't live like that.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that because all my children are married. We've had the mixed ceremonies and so on and so forth. And there's never been this, growling at one another. We have that. I mean,
What does he look like? Show a picture of Martin. I hear about, I wonder if I ever met him, in my time in India,
There is a video that Bauji is there at their house, and you can see the whole family.
Ah,
yeah, and
He's
there's
a good-looking guy.
Oh.
Yeah, beautiful. No, that's
Show us,
beautiful.
okay, what, let me spotlight here. Let's see.
You look,
Oh.
you look very much alike somehow.
Oh,
Like-
you do.
so
Like-
Wendy, was he born in Canada too?
yes.
Yeah, yeah. What a
People-
sweet day. Wow.
The marriage as well.
Sorry?
Did he have any children before you got married?
No. And the poor man, how we made it, it was the grace of God, no two ways about it. Because he was used to putting a pencil down and coming back 2 days later and the pencil would be there. I don't know how he got through it, but he did. And when we went to India, the first time my daughter came, because her dad was supposed to take care of her and his new wife that flatlined. So anyway, we were able to. And on the way back, we got stuck on the tarmac for hours. Like it was like being in a tin can. Anyway, finally they let us off the plane and put us on another plane. But as we left the first plane, elephant raindrops came down. So now we're so wet. That is 30 below, they've got the air conditioning going and,
Oh.
and
Oh my God.
there was a gentleman that was on the plane that was looking at my daughter inappropriately.
Oh.
And Martin stood up, I love him, and said, "Do not look at her like that again. You keep your."
Whoa.
Wow.
I'm thinking, oh my God.
Oh,
Okay, but that really touched my heart, He stood up for her. So it gets a little better. So we're late. London. This was the one and only time we flew Air India. I said never again. In London, of course, we've missed our flight. So anyway, the long and the short, everybody's going, oh, what are we going to do? La, la, la. Air Canada is going to do nothing for us, nothing. So I wandered over to Air Canada because I'm a Canadian. I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to wander over here. There was a gentleman working there. You want to talk a miracle?
yeah.
I met him at our little grocery store in Baileyborough. Like there's, and he said, haven't I met you before? The very short version of it was we got into a newly renovated 5-star, maybe 10-star hotel with tips that they give you so you can buy breakfast and dinner. Yeah, and we had our own rooms. So we were traveling with another friend of ours. I don't know, some of you probably know Dead Johnny.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she was in a room with my daughter, and Martin and I had our own room. I mean, it was just
And-
one of those things that you couldn't make up. It was like,
How did this man arrange that? Did he know somebody or?
he
He
worked
was-
in Canada. I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
know that. He was at the Air Canada.
Booth, yeah.
All Canadian, our flag, and I just gravitated over.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, true story.
You should write those stories. You tell stories very well.
As I said, I've been very blessed with Baba. He never lets, not that I asked, it just happened. Yeah.
Wow.
So those two men knew each other from your little town, from your
No,
little,
she did. She knew him
I knew him.
oh, you knew him.
Oh,
from the grocery. They were buying meat together.
He was just in there getting some groceries, and I can't even remember what our conversation was about. I don't even know if we said anything more than, because that's what we do in a small area, I don't know, but it was wrong that he remembered me. And then
Wow.
sad, it was like, oh my God, like,
Wendy, I thought of the funniest thing. I thought, did he propose to you then? That was-
He's a married woman. What do you mean he proposed?
no,
He's
no.
taken.
That's humor.
taken.
That's the humor.
I know.
it's just, yeah, so just these weird things that happen. And when Martin and I got married, the first time I went into Baba's Samadhi, you heard that story. But the other thing was said with Martin, because like, I don't know how to do this well. And I felt I heard Baba say to me, just love him.
Yeah.
Just love him. And we joke about that all the time. When
Baba told you now. So do it.
like, oh my God. And I
I mean, what sign, what astrological sign is Martin?
oh, hold on to your hat. Aquarian, I'm a Leo.
I know. That's your opposition. That's so funny. That was like Bill LePage, and Baba said, mind Francis Brabazon, look to him, and he's Aquarian. And I thought, wow, Bill hated that. Like, oh no.
Moons are opposite.
But what day? What day?
He's Moon and he's a Scorpio.
No, I mean, what day was he born? What day, Aquarian?
He just turned 70 yesterday.
No,
Oh,
what day?
birthday.
What day? Like February?
February.
Yesterday, February 6th.
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
Happy
wow.
birthday. So how did you celebrate? Did you make a
Hey,
cake?
Martin.
Well, I had a surprise party for him a week before.
Oh, that's
Was really challenging because he's not here. Like we're down to one car. He's here all the time. But he's so focused in what he does. So that made it a little easier. But anyway, it went quite well for sure. But boy, I was glad that was done. Well, going out later on today. We're going out to lunch because yesterday we weren't able to. So we're going out today. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Great.
That's, have a lovely time. What are
Wow.
you going
So,
to eat? What restaurant? What kind of restaurant?
It's you know what? We've never been there before. And the nice thing is, it's a gift. So we're going, we don't even, well, I don't know how much the gifts are for, but anyway, we thought what a perfect time to use it on his birthday.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of a general thing. We usually go, if we go out, we go for Chinese food or for Indian.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Those
Yeah.
are favorites.
mhm.
We're lucky, not too far from us, there's a town, and oh my goodness, we have really good, unique restaurants because we're small areas. And
Yeah.
some of them didn't make it through the pandemic, unfortunately, but a lot of them did. And yeah, we're kind of a tough group to corral. So
Wendy, what year are you born?
1949,
Oh, 49. Okay. And what year is Martin born again?
53.
53. Yeah. Yeah.
What year are you, Rosalie?
I'm born in 1942. I was born, I mean, I'm sure I knew when they bombed Pearl Harbor because I was in my mother's womb.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
40.
her father was born in Germany. He came to the United States. He was in Pearl Harbor in the Merchant Marines. So I know she was a nervous wreck because they
Oh.
could have, had they had enough gasoline in their airplanes, they would have come and bombed
Wow.
the port in California, you know, but they didn't. But I know I'm very high strung, you know, I'm high strung. Yeah. You know, it's funny yesterday. There's such a charge now, like Baba's, whoa, you know, just like tsunami waves, you know. And when I came in and Eugene says, you jump in with both feet. and, and he says, I want to say something. Wendy, it's so funny. I grew up in a lion's den.
Mm.
My mother was a Leo. I don't mean a Leo like you. My mother was, you know, controlling Leo. And my older brother, very offensive Leo, and my younger sister, the older one molested the younger one. So, I mean, but that was the Leo. So, you know, I'm really, I have a bit of Leo in me. So I'm like, I remember turning my face like this, you know, and I thought, okay, you know, I'm part Irish and we were fighters. The women went to battle, you know, I mean, it's funny, but I mean, I just thought of that because, you know, I brought out his side that I didn't want to see, you know, and I thought, but the thing is, there's so much energy now. And I have to watch my intensity. I'm not trying to be intense, you know, but I have intensity now. And also, you know, like say Baba wanted me right back by the center. He wanted me, and it happened. I'm on Section 8. I have all these government programs, you know, trying to, you know, make ends meet and food stamps and this and that. I'm right across from the center. And, you know, and I thought, and I don't have a desire to go to the center, but I'm right here. And there is a book come out by my good friend, is published, and it's very much a book that I hope people will read because it's very important. The center, he compares the center here to like Merazad, not Mehrabad, Merazad, where you could relax, you feel Baba's love, not so many like rules.
Oh,
Yeah. And I never read this book. He gave it to me. We're good friends. He gave it to me 7 years ago, but I don't read books. I read children's books and Baba books.
Mm.
So I didn't read the book, but I'm reading the book now because it's so important, this Myrtle Beach Center.
What's the
Yeah.
name of the book, Rosalie?
Well, let me get it because I can't remember the name of it. I'll show you the cover.
Betty, what year were you born?
45,
Mm.
77.
You're 1 year older
And
than
you? And you, Mikal?
46. 46.
Mhm. So we're all crones. I have this, and
It
it's crones don't whine. I love it.
Spiritual.
I'm a kid croner, and I just lost my tooth. Thank you, Bob. So I'm 80, so I lost it like 8 years old. You know, you lose your teeth. So anyway,
Oh,
it's called Myrtle Beach welcomes you, and it's
yeah.
the
Spiritual.
spiritual abode for one and all. Speaking because Baba, and he has it so documented. I mean, this is like a treasure at a crossroads because during the pandemic, I was very happy in my house. And there was just one day, and Baba moved me further. I was in Little River, so, but I wasn't going out. It's a pandemic, and I was up with more trees. And on November 16th, I guess it was 2020, it was a pandemic time. And I thought, oh my God, there's something about this day. There's something special about this day. It was the first day Baba brought me here
Oh,
in
wow.
1971.
Mhm.
And it's the only day where I drove on, and I had a partner at that time, onto the center where Baba let me feel the energy lift. He doesn't give me experiences like that, but I did feel at that time. It's sacred place. Anyway, this book, it has a lot of work's been put into it. I think I'm glad people do the work for books, you know, and I think it's a very necessary book. It can be purchased at Cherish. He did put copies on the center, but you know, I don't know. Baba has me in kind of a more controversial state of mind. See, I'm so soaking in his mystical language that you know, and feeling the importance of living in Myrtle Beach, because Baba, when he had these conversations with Elizabeth, and they're in here, he spoke of Myrtle Beach as his spiritual center.
Rosalie, that photo, you know, there's a story about Norina where I think it was a sign at the beginning and maybe at the end of town where she planted some trees. She did something to make.
Yes, he did.
That?
He did.
Would that be the place? Would that sign be, or do you know?
I don't know. You know, Jonathan loves Myrtle Beach. He loves living here. I'm not a lover of Myrtle Beach. I can tell you. And Baba's had me here. This is my 25th year. And I do feel now, with the intensity that I feel, that Baba has me here for work. Because I can tell you, I always used to say this funny thing. I'm a Westerner. I didn't come over with the Pilgrims. I'm not like with the Pilgrims. You know, I dance, I sing, you know, I'm a Westerner. And but it's just a funny way of saying I just have waited all this time. Why do you have me here? Why do you have me here, Baba? I mean, that's a lot of years to be asking that question.
Oh.
And I'm feeling, I know, because the center is so precious as his home in the West. It doesn't need more cabins on it. It's like a central important thing that that will have communication with all the Baba centers that spring up everywhere, you know, in the States, you know, whatever, Canada. It's important. And Baba loved it so much because he says it was given with such love. And Elizabeth, Dilruba was his pet name for her. She only wanted what Baba wanted. So she had carte blanche as far as, and Baba trusted her, you know, what do you want, Elizabeth? You know, it was just like a beautiful love between Elizabeth and Meher Baba. Yeah. Anyway, the book is important.
Right.
It's especially important now, is all I will say, because, you know, they have far range ideas for the center, that 500 acres. But, you know, when Baba came in 52, he spent 2 weeks in seclusion. And he had the women, Mehera, Goher, Mani, Meru, go around the town, and they even went to a drive-in movie. So it's like feel at home in the city, in this Myrtle Beach. No one was staying on the center. Of course, Baba had his house. They slept on the center, but that was after having people come for overnight. You know, I treasured every overnight I had there, but now I treasure my home. And I treasured, Baba so often says, the heart of my lovers is my home. And that's what the pandemic brought to me. And I'm right by the center. I'm right. I see the value of it. But, you know, everyone that moves here, it's for Baba. It's not to relocate in South Carolina. I mean, I would sit here and ask tourists, why do you come here? And the beach. And I thought, I just didn't, I couldn't figure it out. But it is a very important place, and it has a very important future. And I just put it out. This is.
Thank you. I didn't know about that book. That's
And that's because it has such a history. You know, FDR came down here. He used to come to a spa around here.
In
During
Who
the
put that book out? The city or the center?
oh,
what do you, who
there's
is
Martin. There's Martin. Let's catch him.
that?
happy
Hi,
birthday
Martin.
to you.
Happy birthday, Martin.
Birthday to you.
Wow.
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday,
to
dear
both of you.
Martin. Happy birthday to you. Oh, and you're all dressed up to go out to lunch.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm so glad you came.
That's great. That's great. But we wanted to meet you.
Is that Wendy's boyfriend?
Yes.
Oh
Boy-
boy.
Boyfriend.
We've been hearing she had a beau.
Oh,
Yeah.
she has spilled the beans, Martin.
Jay Baba.
We know your whole story.
Don't tell.
That ain't
I say
true. We
goodbye
gotta
to
hear
you.
the story.
You'll have to watch the video. Oh, we're still recording. It's
for all
probably time
shares.
to say adieu. Yeah,
Thanks.
especially, are you guys going to lunch?
Story. Yeah.
Okay.
Bye. Patty. Regards to Dave and to Tractor Daddy. And much
Oh,
love to you too.
Martin, I wanted to give you one line for your birthday from the mystical language that Baba spoke through Narina Machabelli. God in us is rejoicing his own experience of joy.
Right on.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for a lovely book.
This has been so special. Far more than books. Yeah, it's been wonderful to hear you.
The wine is pouring.
You can skip
Don't miss it. Don't miss it.
And even Ralph has joined us at the end, off the farm. Ralph is raising quail out there in Texas.
Wendy, I wanted to show this picture Vesta with Arnavas.
Can you spotlight it there?
Can you frame it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's Vesta. Baba.
Oh, sweet.
Bye-bye. Yeah.
Mama.
Yeah, look at them. Arnavas looks so happy.
Oh yeah, they were
Very
like,
bomb.
yeah. Didn't she slap Vesta like, get it?
Arnavas did? What?
Yeah, one time, like, you know,
Really? Oh, well,
Well,
why?
you know, get her to the present. You know,
Oh,
and she
wow.
told them that, and that's
Oh.
very precious. She didn't write her book, but those 3 talks she gave late night that are on Baba Zoom. Treat yourself, and you too, Martin. Treat yourself, because that's the whole true love thing.
Yeah.
Recorded. Yeah.
You get to come, but we listen after.
Wow. Precious. Yeah. I-
Probably go too. I've got to go take care of my boy. So,
Have an awesome day.
Jay Balaba.
oh, beautiful. Oh,
Yeah. Early that my first pilgrimage, and
oh.
she was a good person there. She never interfered with the pilgrimage.
Right.
Rob Aaron sent some beautiful photos out yesterday. Did you all see those?
Yeah.
Good.
Are they going to do a celebration of life for Vesta?
Oh, yes, I'm sure there will be. Yeah. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But Bob,
It was announced in an emails, but I don't know who got the email.
Oh, because I haven't seen
Um,
it yet.
I have to look on my phone to see what it is.
Okay.
There is one.
Okay.
Definitely.
good.
Yeah, we have to.
I
Or
bet
going to be, they're
surprised.
planning it. Might be at the Los Angeles Center. It
Oh,
was
we should have a Zoom one. We definitely. should.
I'm determined. Yeah.
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 I think Baba very much surprised Vesta.
Mhm.
Like, even if she had ended up one cell, she would have written that book if she had been in that one cell.
Did you right?
He took her out. That surprised me too. I thought, okay, we have the video. That's more powerful. Baba said it's the most powerful thing because we could see and hear. It's the most powerful media. It's not like she was looking great or anything, but she was firsthand information of right.
Oh, yeah.
Baba dropped his body. Precious.
I
Yeah.
really believe that Vesta was part of the freedom of women that had been abused. I think she,
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, she was a worker. I mean, she came there to take her life.
Yeah.
And
No.
then, you know, there was a rock bottom.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a tale, such a story.
Such a tale. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. She can wag her tail now. She can wag.
Oh, I gotta take my
There's
Hey,
Amelia
Baba,
now.
Hey,
Rosalie.
Baba. Hey, Baba. Wonderful to see you, Martin. Come back.
Happy birthday.
Hey,
Yeah.
Baba. Hey, Baba.
Jay Bob.
Bye.
Bye.